The curtain rises on the 2020 college gymnastics season as the preseason #2 LSU Tigers meet the Arizona Wildcats. We welcome you into the Maravich Center with Lori Strong-Ballard, a former Canadian Olympian, a national champion at Georgia, and an All-America at Georgia, and Kaylee Dixon-Abood, twice an All-America and the All-Around at LSU. I'm Len Rollins. Lori, let's start with you. Is it unfair to expect a big score out of LSU in Meet 1 as opposed to maybe a middling team across the country?
Well, without a doubt, it's part of LSU's plan to come out strong and make a bold statement. They want to be part of that national championship conversation once again this year. And they're not only competing against Arizona tonight, but every other team in the country. And although they don't need to be peaking here tonight, a strong performance will help build their confidence and help make that bold statement.
Kayla, you're not that far removed from your freshman season at LSU with big crowds like this starting to become commonplace. What was it like for you as a rookie gymnast in your first home meet?
It's definitely nerve-wracking being in an environment like the PMAC. However, your training really prepares you for that. Events like Gymnastics 101, the weekly inter squads, really put you in a pressure-type situation to help you deal with a competition setting.
Well, let's look at this 2020 LSU team. Expectations are always high these days for the Tigers. What's it going to be as you look ahead at what's to come?
Well, LSU is coming off of its third runner-up finish in the past 4 years, and a lot of that success is contributed by the past 4 seniors from last year that graduated in 2019. Juliana Canamella, McKenna Kelly, Lexi Priestman, and Sarah Finnegan led the Tigers to the most accomplished 4 years in school history. However, there are 7 newcomers this 2020 season. Kai Rivers and Kaya Johnson are 2 standouts out of this freshman class that are really going to have a strong and fast impact to the success of this Tiger team.
Lori, we spoke with Coach John Court before the game. He's the Arizona head man. He told us emphatically that in all 24 positions, he felt his team was significantly better this year than last year.
Well, Arizona was preseason ranked 35th in the country. They were 8th at last year's Pac-12. But John Court feels that this is a top 25 team. They have 7 newcomers, but 12 that are returning from last year's team, and 6 of them are seniors. One of their standout performers is Christina Berg, an All-American on bars who scored a 9.975 against LSU last year in Tucson, so we'll keep an eye on her performances tonight. 14 out of 24 routines tonight from Arizona will come from their seniors. That is big in terms of having confidence and experience, especially when you're meeting the #2 team in the nation in an environment like this.
Well, environment is indeed the word for it. It has blossomed here in Baton Rouge, the popularity of gymnastics. This place is a definite home field advantage for LSU.
It absolutely is. Competing in the PMAC is second to none, and the LSU coaching staff has done such a great job over the past few years, especially getting people excited about LSU gymnastics, and this is obviously the place to be on a Friday night.
This is a great event for all of the family to attend, and let's face it, success breeds excitement and fans.
Well, for those of you who may not be intimately familiar with the college gymnastics game, here are the basic rules that govern the sport in a dual meet.
6 girls will compete per event. The top 5 scores will count, and the lowest one is dropped. After all 4 events, the team with the highest cumulative score wins.
And the home team has a little bit of an advantage competing in Olympic order, which is vault, bars, beam, and floor. That means the home team, like LSU, gets to finish on floor in front of the home crowd, feeling all of that excitement. And the away team, well, they have to finish on beam, that make-or-break event that requires so much focus, and that will be tough in an environment and atmosphere here at LSU.
Well, there is John Court in his 2nd season as Arizona head coach. 21st season overall at Arizona after a long stint as an assistant coach. He's originally from New England, has a Rhode Island background, and a guy who feels like his program is on the rise. He was very emphatic about telling us we will be much better than we were a year ago.
Well, we talked about the strength that they have in their senior class, and he also has 7 incoming freshmen, and because they have so many seniors, it allows them to really take a gradual approach to adding the freshmen.
How about Dee Bro, a 9-time SEC Coach of the Year? They just unfurled a banner that signified the 3rd straight SEC championship. In her 43rd year as LSU head coach, the dean of all SEC coaches in the history of the conference. And her ability to turn out superb gymnastics teams has not waned. It's as strong as it ever has been.
every year she just gets more and more engaged with her teams and more hungry for that national championship. So I know everyone's excited for LSU gymnastics in 2020. I cannot wait to see them start out with a bang tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the vault lineup for LSU. This is the way it will line up with 3 freshmen actually involved in this lineup. Kai Rivers, Lexi Nibbs, Ruby Harold, Sarah Edwards, Kaya Johnson, and Kennedy Edney, the veteran.
And LSU finished last season ranked 4th on this event. They graduated some great vaulters, but they do have the 2-time national champion, Kennedy Edney, returning, and those 3 freshmen bring superb power to this lineup.
One of the freshmen up now, Kai Rivers from Detroit.
Struggled with one of her vaults in warm-up, no problem tonight. Amazing direction off the vaulting table, straight up, a tiny hop on the landing.
Well, let's go to the bar lineup for Arizona. This is the way it'll line up for the Wildcats.
Pretty experienced lineup here. Their top athlete is Christina Berg. We talked about her at the top of the program. She's the anchor and capable of putting up those 9-9+ scores.
Haley Hendrickson, a senior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
So the way the dual meet works as well, we mentioned at the top of the show that LSU will start on vaults, Arizona's on bars, and they go back and forth throughout the night. Struggling a little there on her blind half, trying to make the connection into a release there, a Jaeger.
Just had trouble with her timing there. She couldn't seem to get it together after that. But hopefully she can rally and kind of finish off a good routine. It's always hard starting off on the very first event. You're not in your home arena, so she's probably feeling some nerves.
And this near-capacity crowd, even though it's heavily favored for LSU, of course, is cheering her on. They recognize the difficulty of getting back on.
She's a redshirt senior, so this is actually her 5th year. Last year she celebrated senior night with her team and then came back for a 5th season. So this is one of their experienced athletes that they were hoping to get a solid hit from at the beginning of their lineup.
Lexi Nibbs is next on vault for LSU. One of the 3 freshmen in the vault lineup. She's out of Houston.
For LSU, please welcome Lexi Nibbs.
She finished 10th on vault, the JO Regional Championships last year. Another one of those athletes adding tremendous power to this vaulting lineup for the Tigers. Wow.
It was beautiful. She had a little pike down on the landing, which caused her to take a small hop, but beautiful height and lift off the table.
Something that the judges are looking for is the direction off the table. That's what gives you the height. They want to see those open shoulders and then the feet rise up towards the ceiling to initiate that height.
And as a freshman, you really are figuring out how to stick this vault. In college, it's all about sticking the landing. So Bob Moore really focuses on a bunch of landing drills, especially with the freshmen.
This is Mackenzie Kane, a second-year gymnast out of Tucson, Arizona. Her career best, 9.825.
She started her career running last year as a freshman, competing in every meet of the season. Bars is her strength. Her career high is at 9.825. Before coming to Arizona, she was both a state and regional bar champion.
Kai Rivers scored a 9.775 on the initial vault for LSU. There's John Court in his second year.
Communicating with his athlete, trying to keep her nerves at bay right now as she's waiting on the judges and to begin her routine.
Lexi Nibbs was 9.7 on vault for the Tigers.
Kim cast a handstand, trying to hit that vertical position, so important on bars. Half turn into her Jaeger, immediate shoot over. Back to the high bar, a little short on that handstand. Double front dismount, that's a blind landing and so difficult. You don't see the mat before you land. She takes a step on the landing.
Hopefully that routine will build some momentum for Arizona, kind of get their groove going again on bars with that first fall on that first routine.
She looks like she was a little bit conservative on these handstands, just making sure she doesn't go over on them. Here's the dismount. Double front. A little bit of a cowboy position. That means that separation of the leg. That could be a deduction there in the step on the landing.
And the popular Ruby Harold on vault for LSU.
LSU making an upgrade here. The start value. This is a Yurchenko 1.5. That is a 10-0 start value. LSU today will have 4 athletes competing 10-0 start values. The goal will be to try to get 6, and they absolutely have other athletes training those 10-0 start values.
There's Ruby's vault again. It had really nice height, really nice distance. She goes Yurchenko 4.5. Little bit of chest down on the landing and a small step, which will obviously be deductions for her.
Ruby Harold, who has the ever-present smile, the senior out of Bristol, England, a 3-year letter winner for the Tigers. Maddie Layden up next on bars.
Maddie traditionally competes in the all-around and scored over a 39 in 8 meets last season, but it's interesting to note that Arizona doesn't have any all-arounders in this competition, which leads me to believe that they have that extra depth on their team this year, which is a great thing. It allows the athletes to really shine on their events and to maybe save some of their bodies a little bit from having to compete every event.
The previous bar performer, Mackenzie Kane, scored 9.725.
Looking to secure another solid hit for Arizona here after that miss first up. Good cast a handstand. Connection to the high bar, back down to the low bar with a pack salto, switch kip.
She's got a beautiful toe point.
Good cast a handstand, a little short there. Oh, nice job on a Horkina. Again, short on the handstands. Those are the little details they'll have to work out as the season goes on. Short on rotation on the dismount, but a solid routine. Really like that last release move. Nice chapash. Up to the high bar, pack salto down to the low bar, showing those direct connections. That gives her extra bonus points.
And for the Tigers on vault, Sarah Edwards.
Sarah has a really powerful vault. There it is, Yurchenko 4.5. Small hop on the landing, but that had so much lift, so much height off the table. She's just a powerful athlete.
What impresses me so much about these LSU vaulters, they don't hold back. That is a full sprint coming out of her into a Yurchenko 1.5. They hit the vaulting table with so much power and speed and execute these very difficult vaults so well.
Sarah is a 2-year letter winner, a junior out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and that vault followed a 9.775 from LSU's Ruby Harold. Let's talk a little bit about the unique skills that bars requires that no other event in gymnastics does.
Bars is a very unique event because all of your skills are connected, and the connected skills get you bonus to get to a 10.0 start value, which is what you want from all of your athletes.
It's almost a specialty event. The skills that you have to have on bars to make you good, they don't really translate to the other events. Like on vault and floor, you're doing round-offs and back handsprings, the same as on beam. So all of those skills are similar. This is a very unique apparatus that requires a certain skill set to be successful.
And arguably more tiring than a floor routine.
Yes. Upper body strength is needed, grip strength, stomach muscles. Nice job sticking the landing on her double layout.
That was a beautiful bar routine. She had very nice lines, very nice handstands. Hopefully that'll put up a good score to kind of get Arizona back to where they want to start out.
There's a release move there. It's called a Tkachev. And this year there is a little bit of a rule change. They have to get 0.6 of bonus, but they've added some things in the rules to allow them to get those extra tenths. Like on that Tkachev, she would get 0.2 of bonus versus 1/10 last year.
So a nice return by Heather Swanson, and we go to Kaya Johnson, the freshman out of Dallas for LSU, following a 9.85 for Sarah Edwards.
This is a tremendous vaulter. Huge difficulty doing the Yurchenko double full. You remember back when Ashley Natt debuted that for LSU, and now they have another vaulter capable of the double full, and it was brilliant.
That's about as good as you can do a vault of that difficulty. It was beautiful. The height, the distance, small hop on the landing, but I think by the end of the season, we're going to see her consistently stick that vault.
Vaulting has been so good for LSU for so long.
Bob Moore really has it down to a science. He breaks every little movement down, lots of sticking drills, not a lot of numbers because these girls they're older and they're getting ready to end their gymnastics careers. So you've got to save their bodies, and landing on a vault competition surface really does hurt your ankles. So he is very smart about the way he trains his vaulters.
Heather Swanson scored 9.775 on bars, and this is Zaza Brovodani.
Three-time JO national qualifier. She won the national bar title in 2016.
And a very promising freshman from Oakland, California.
Gorgeous look on this event. The extension in her lines, the toe point. Beautiful pirouette, finishing on top of the bar in handstand. That's how you do it. Just the dismount here. Setting the direction up for a stick straight double layout. Shy on rotation, has to take that step out on the landing. But that's a routine when she sticks the landing that will score very high for them.
Absolutely, it was beautiful.
Pack salto down to the low bar. Here's that pirouette. She goes early with the hand change, allowing her to finish it on top in the handstand position. Dismount. Just slow on rotation, steps out on the landing.
Kennedy Edney is up next to wrap up the vault for LSU, and Kaya Johnson preceded her with the highest vault score of the evening at 9.9.
Two-time national champion. She scored a perfect 10 on this Yurchenko 1.5 last year. See if she gets the landing. She gets the push off the vaulting table. That was a massive vault. Can't control the landing, though.
She had so much power on that landing. She kind of rebounded out of it.
You've talked about the importance of landings, especially on this event, because it's only one skill, and a landing is crucial to getting that big score. But also, it is the beginning of the season, and quite often Bob Moore stresses the technique over the landing in the beginning of the season. Those landings have to be there by the end, though.
We should also point out that the last two LSU vaulters are the only two all-around performers in this evening's competition. Kaya Johnson and Kennedy Edney in all four events for the Tigers.
I'm excited to see how Kaya does in her freshman debut in the all-around. I think she's going to put together a great 4 events.
Here's an All-America on bars, Christina Berg.
We talked about her in the opening, scoring a 9.975. Absolutely gorgeous on that Pike Jaeger, well above the high bar. The Pike Jaeger is an E skill, one of the most difficult you can do. So she gets 0.2 of bonus there. Full twisting double back, sticks the landing. She absolutely was amazing tonight once again.
It's a great way to close out Arizona's bar lineup with that small miss in the beginning of the lineup. They really rallied back. They came together. They got some consistent routines going, and they ended with that beautiful set.
And, you know, she scored that 9.975. This is her senior year. I know she's looking for a perfect 10 this season, and she has the goods to do it.
We will return with scores from the first event, bring you up to date on team scores as well. Let's take a timeout right now. LSU, Arizona Gymnastics. At LSU 49.10, that came on vault. Arizona 48.80 on bars. Let's look at what's upcoming for these Arizona Wildcats competing out of the Pac-12, where UCLA is again the favorite.
What stands out to me is the strength of schedule they have, especially in the middle of the season. They're meeting top-ranked Utah, UCLA. They also meet Stanford and Cal. And, you know, it's about getting your team out in front of that tough competitions, because that's what builds strong competitors.
Here's LSU's upcoming schedule. It will get right into SEC action.
They start strong, traveling to Georgia. It's a very intimidating place to compete, but it will really prepare them for postseason, competing in that intense environment. And then Auburn, and then at Florida, which is also another great opponent to compete at home for. Alabama in the PMAC, that will be amazing. And then February 8th, Oregon versus Arizona State.
And the first 4 on that schedule all will be available through the SEC network in one platform or another. We get ready for LSU on bars and Arizona on vault. Thank you for spending some time with us as the aura of gymnastics in Baton Rouge continues tonight with a near capacity crowd. Here's the Arizona vault lineup. Jenny Leung, Danielle Nosek, Heather Swanson, Kennedy Davis.
They were ranked 41st on this event last year. That's their lowest ranking. They're looking to improve on that this season. They have 3 seniors that bring stability, but also some underclassmen that bring new, strong talent and power to this event.
Maddie Layden and Malia Hargrove will be the last 2 vaulters.
Arizona's really going to want to rally on this event, try to go for those landings, get a lot of power and speed into these vaults so that they can hopefully gain some momentum back for their total score.
You know, here's a little interesting note as we look back at last season. LSU's best total score of any opponent was 198.175, and it came against Arizona.
And what's interesting about that was a road score. They were away from home, so to be able to put up a big score like that late in the season was definitely a confidence booster for them.
That was in late March. By the way, the SEC championship tournament in 2021 is going to return to New Orleans, where they had record crowds last year.
That was an amazing event last year at the Smoothie King Center where LSU picked up another SEC title. The environment there was spectacular. Almost felt like a home meet for them.
It really did. The crowd was amazing, and the girls definitely played off of the crowd, and winning it was just the best thing that could have ever happened. And we dropped a banner tonight celebrating that, so it'll go down in history for LSU and in the PMAC for everyone to see. So it's a really, really special thing, and to have it back in New Orleans is just something so amazing.
Let's get started with vault. Jenny Leung, a senior from Houston, will lead it off for Arizona.
Her season high on vault last year was a 9.775. She actually was raised in Houston, where she trained at Stars Gymnastics, but she also lived in Singapore for 5 years. Interesting fact.
That is very interesting.
You might be able to shoehorn a few more fans in here, but not many.
It's definitely
near
a packed
capacity.
house. Everybody is just excited about the first home meet and being back in here after the holidays. It's something special and fun to do.
As we prepared for this meet, I was just looking on social media, and just the energy and the hype and the excitement from everyone leading up to this event, this meet, was incredible.
And I believe we're having a bit of delay here because Jenny Leung's vault has been changed. Here she is. Let's check the bars.
Full, nice distance, slightly
Let's check
tight.
the bars lineup right now before we get back to vault. This is the way it's going to line up for LSU. Johnson, Chenikova, Rivers, Durante, Edney, and Harold.
First on the uneven bars for your Fighting Tigers. Please welcome Kaya Johnson.
LSU graduated national bar champion Sarah Finnegan, as well as a big scorer in Lexi Priestman, so there was some big shoes to fill. Kaya Johnson is one of them who can get the job done. Beautiful height on her backswing. Back down to the low bar for an overshoot. Aggressive on the handstand, toe hand.
Just needs to stick this dismount. All right, small hop, but what a leadoff routine from a freshman. It looked like she was a junior or senior.
How about that for your first career bar event in front of 10,000 people?
Coach Dee Dee Bro has had so much praise for this athlete since she's arrived on campus at LSU. She truly believes in the end that she can really fill the shoes of Sarah Finnegan and be that kind of a successful all-around athlete for the Tigers.
Danielle Nosek, a freshman from Greenfield, Indiana, is up next on vault.
She says her favorite event is vault. She has incredible power. Level 9 national champion, level 10 national qualifier. Yurchenko full. She has competed a Yurchenko 1.5 in the past. That's something that they will possibly upgrade throughout the season.
The start of season, you're just figuring everything out. So saving your athletes' bodies, figuring out the competition landing surface is going to depend on how the athlete's feeling that day. So I think that we'll definitely see some vaulting changes. Definitely for LSU, for sure for Arizona. I'm sure by the end of the season they'll upgrade that difficulty.
Here is Alona Shenikova. Her sister was on the U.S. national team. Both of her parents competed on the Soviet national team. What a gymnastics background she comes from.
It runs in her blood.
And you'll see that very typical Soviet look on this event. They're absolutely gorgeous. Oh, a little bit of a problem. Oh, dear.
She really made that work.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe she's pulled this out. Oh.
Her grip the whole time, you probably see, was a little off of her hands, not quite correct on the bar. So she made it work as long as she could, but that pack down to the low bar.
So what is so unique about this routine is she starts the routine off with 3 very difficult, directly connected skills, and her feet came off right at the beginning. She had to repeat it, and I can't believe that she got through all 3 skills, slipping her hand on the pack salto.
Definitely not the routine she wanted or anything, but first time nerves, her grip slipped. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. She's going to go back in the gym and work on those things.
I think it's fair to say from what we saw that even though she ran into a pothole, that this young lady on bars is going to be tremendous.
Oh, her background in club. I mean, she had an amazing elite career on bars, so I'm expecting amazing
and the skills for sure.
Heather Swanson. Out of Parkland, Florida.
This vault is scored out of a 9.95. A little bit high on the table. You didn't see a whole lot of weight on her hands, and you need to get weight on your hands to be able to get that block that forced her to have to pike down a little bit at the end.
Coming up for LSU, Kai Rivers.
So one mistake by a freshman. Now we're back to another freshman. There are 3 freshmen in this lineup, which tells me that Jay Clark recruited very well in terms of bar workers, but certainly I know Kai is feeling tremendous pressure right now.
So 3 freshman vaulters and 3 freshman bar performers as well for LSU tonight.
They're starting off strong, and I think that's so great, letting them gain experience and recruiting well so that your club athletes can come in and immediately hit the ground running in a college environment.
Maybe a small mistake there on her overshoot. Made a quick adjustment. Here she has a release move. Tkachev at the end of the routine there. Bent her knee slightly.
She goes for her dismount. Double layout. Gets the stick. Saves a 10th there, but yes, obviously a mistake within that routine.
First meet jitters, lots of teaching moments today. They'll head back into the gym, make some of those adjustments for next week. Good speed into the dismount, double layout, well above the bar. Being patient, bending the knees on that landing to get the stick.
Heather Swanson's vault was 9.7, and now she'll be followed by Kennedy Davis for Arizona, a sophomore from Blue Springs, Missouri, and a nutritional science major.
Slated to compete in 3 out of 4 events today. Her career best score on vault is a 9.825. They'll be looking for a big score here. Chenko full, nicely done. Round off onto the board, get those arms back as quick as you can to get some pressure on the vaulting table. She held shape pretty good, maybe a slight pike before the landing.
Sammy Durante will be next on bars for LSU. This was an event last year against Arizona in which LSU scored 49.60, and that was the highest bar score of the season for the Tigers.
9.925 is Sammy's career high. She's beautiful on this event. Hits every handstand. Her toe point is beautiful.
They've traditionally put her as the first up athlete over the last couple years because she is so consistent and so clean. It's interesting that they put 2 freshmen up first up. I wonder if they'll go back in and reassess things. Maybe she gets that leadoff position again.
I'm sure they will. The lineups we see tonight are definitely going to change as the season progresses.
The only issue is that Sammy is so good on this event. By putting her later in the lineup, they can have the potential of her getting a bigger score.
What you just saw was pretty darn good.
It's a beautiful set.
I really saw no mistakes throughout the routine, just a little bit low with the shoulders on the landing of the dismount. Pack salto down to the low bar. Here's the dismount, sets it up nice and high, just leaning forward a little bit to have to take that hop on the landing.
And coming up on vault, Maddie Layden from Melbourne, Australia.
Nice direction off the vaulting table. Good height and lift of the hips.
Again, just a little bit of a pike down, trying to find that landing, which caused her to take that hop, but overall a solid vault.
One of the differences we're seeing between LSU and Arizona on this event is start values. They have done all Yurchenko full vaults. Those are 9.95 start values. We saw LSU, their last 4, having 10.0 start values. That gives them about a 2/10 advantage.
Here's the very elegant Kennedy Edney. She averaged 9.851 on this event last year.
And close to a 10, 9.975 is her career high on the uneven bars, and she's an All-American on this event as well.
All of her gymnastic skills are super big. She gets big height in her release, big height in her dismount. She is their #1 returning scorer on this event. And after a couple of mistakes early in the lineup, LSU needs a big performance here. See Jay Clark in the background. I think every time she does that skill, he does that leg kick.
Beautiful bail handstand. Just the dismount left for Kennedy.
She's well known for this dismount. Double layout, but what makes her stand apart is the body shape. It sticks straight. You don't really see a pike or an arch. Small movement of the foot on the landing.
The E stands for Edney in her last name. It also stands for elegant in her performance.
It's that clear hip to handstand, down to the low bar for the bail handstand, and then the dismount. Small hop, but what a beautiful routine.
Sammy Durante was 9.8 on bars. Maddie Layden was 9.675 on vault. Back we go.
Malia Hargrove. Nice pop off the vaulting table. Good distance. Another Yurchenko full with that 9.95 start value, but super clean. When she sticks that landing, it should get close to that 9.8, 9.9 range.
And she's a freshman from Sparks, Nevada, majoring in chemical engineering. That was the final vaulter. And we will get to Ruby Harold on bars for LSU. We are awaiting Edney's score. 9.825. Harold, a veteran, a 3-year letter winner. She's been a contributor every single year, and she is expected to play a major part of this 2020 team.
Very rare connection there. Azukul Schluderen from high bar down to low bar. This is the 4th year that she's been competing that, and it still takes my breath away.
9.95 is her career high. She's also an All-American on this event. And you can see why. Difficulty, consistently hit set, nice handstands, just a job well done in that anchor spot.
That smile lights up the place, does it not?
Definitely does.
It's her 4th year doing that blind landing dismount, and I really think that she's figured out the timing there. Here it is, hop to handstand, double front, opens exactly on time, arms are ready for the landing, and she hits the stick.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on team scores and all of the individual scores for the vault and bars. We continue with gymnastics from Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge in the first meet of the season. LSU leads Arizona 97.90 to 97.275. Arizona turning in a 48.80 on bars and a 48.475 on vault. And LSU just completed its bars routine at 48.80. Here are the individual Arizona vault scores, ranging from 9.725 down to 9.675. One of those was discarded. And we go to LSU on bars. 9.875 by Ruby Harold at the end of the rotation was the best score there. All in all, a pretty nice event for the Tigers. Still some work to be done, but a good start, more or less, for LSU on bars.
I think they're going to head back into the gym and make some corrections. I don't think that they will be totally happy with this, and this is not the type of scoring and performance we'll see from the Tigers on bars later in the season.
They definitely have a great bar lineup, and it's not what they showed tonight. They're definitely going to go back in the gym, make some adjustments. They want to be between 49.4 plus.
All of those routines are capable of scoring in that 9.9 range.
So we'll return with the next rotation from Baton Rouge as Arizona and LSU open the 2020 college gymnastics season. Baton Rouge, there's hardly a seat to be had in meet one here between LSU and Arizona. Some of the best seating in the house, though, is the new landing, an exclusive group outing space, 40 VIP floor-level seats. You see some of the details there. Book the landing, you get 10 parking passes, you get 10 autographed LSU gymnastics posters, you get message recognition on the video boards, you get a post-meet group photo with legendary coach Dee Bro. And if you'd like more information about how to book the landing, I love that name, by the way. You're going to stick it with the landing. 225-578-0100. Call that number and make your reservations for some VIP seating at the landing. And they've got food, they've got drink, they've got some adult beverages there, and it's a cool place to watch a meet.
And I believe it's one of the only one in the country. And it's a great viewing experience for LSU gym fans because you get to be right on the competition floor, kind of almost like you're mingling with the athletes here. It's kind of being geared toward corporations doing corporate events there. You could rent it out for birthday parties, or if you're just a really big LSU gymnastics fan, go for it.
It's definitely a unique experience. I would love to sit and have those seats and just watch and relax and have a good time.
Maybe on one of the future meets, we'll set our broadcast booth up in the landing.
That sounds good to me.
Actually, there are 2 landing areas here, so there's some options.
Yeah, there's a section over by bars and vaults, so when the teams are competing on those events, you can sit in that area, and then you can walk down and be closer to beam and floor during the 3rd and 4th rotations.
Arizona will be on floor. And let's take a look at how it lines up. Courtney Coles, Libby Orman, Kennedy Davis, Heather Swanson, Christina Berg, and Maddie Layden for Arizona.
And for
LSU leading after 2 events, 97.900 to 97.275. LSU on beam, Christina Desiderio, Bridget Dean, Sammy Durante, Kennedy Edney, Kaya Johnson, and Reagan Campbell. This is an event over the last couple of years that LSU has made dramatic improvement. Fourth in the country last year overall on beam.
Yeah, and a 49.65 was their season high, which is a really great beam score.
Christina Desiderio as a junior. Last year she scored 3.99s, including at the SEC Championships when there was so much pressure on this team to take home the win, and she was in that leadoff spot and still scored a 9.9. Impressive.
9.772, her season's average.
9.95 is her career high, so she's knocking at the door at a 10.0. To open up this lineup with a 10, that would be cool.
Kayla, you talked about that 49.65 score, the highest last year. That came against Georgia.
Seeing some nerves a little bit. Just the dismount. Sticks the dismount. A few wobbles here and there, but overall a pretty decent leadoff. Not what she wanted, but overall, not too bad.
Christina had shoulder surgery in off-season, so she's still recovering from that. Nicely done on the leaps here, hitting those full split position. There was a slight wobble coming out of the front aerial. If you take a look at her feet when she landed, they were slightly turned, that turned the hips, and the dismount was solid with a stuck landing.
Courtney Coles gets it started on the mat for Arizona.
9.85 is her high on this event.
Courtney is out of Canton, Connecticut, and carries a 4.0 GPA, majoring in film and television, and another major in sociology.
She is busy.
Overall, gymnasts are just impressive people. Everything that it takes to become a great gymnast helps you in every aspect of life. That discipline, that time management, the work ethic, all of that helps you be a great student as well as athlete.
Teaches life lessons, that's for sure.
You mentioned her season high of a 9.85. She scored that at the Pac-12 championships as well, so came through big time for her team when it counted. Her knee and ankles are heavily wrapped. Certainly the legs take a tough ride on this event.
She goes for that last tumbling pass. She's got a great routine going so far. Very nice. A good 2.5, a great lead-off set.
And the little Wildcat roar at the end. By the way, Christina Desiderio, 9.775 on beam.
I love these Arizona leotards, too, with that big A in the back and the low back. You can see, though, that she's wearing a little bit of a KT tape. Almost looks like she has tattoos, but that is a therapeutic taping device. Great job there at the end with a 2.5 twist. That's a D skill.
Bridget Dean on beam, a junior out of Fort Myers, Florida, with a couple of letters to her credit.
Bridget has delivered many crucial hit beam sets to this beam lineup. Saw it last year during major championships, and she's been very consistent on this event and very beautiful to watch.
Difficult series here. Aerial cartwheel to a back handspring. Anytime you add a turning aspect to your lead off element, it just makes it that much more difficult. Switch leap drops the shoulder, maybe missed the connection there, so she adds another jump, drops her shoulders again.
Front aerial to assist zone, dropped her shoulder, had to take a wobble there.
Don't you love that beam microphone? It really amplifies what's going on out there.
Side aerial to a back fold, gets the stick, but some bounce checks here and there within that beam set.
You mentioned the microphone and how you can hear that landing. When I trained beam, I used the sound of my feet landing on the beam to create rhythm, and I knew that the skills were working out the way they should according to that rhythm.
That dismount again, nice stick.
9.7 for Courtney Coles on the opening floor routine. Here's Libby Orman, a freshman out of Mound, Minnesota.
3-time JO national qualifier. Her mom, Lori, was a gymnast at Northern Illinois University. I mentioned JO a lot. That's Junior Olympic. That is the division that most of these athletes come out of and have been competing in over the last several years. Many other athletes come out of the elite system. That's a little bit of a higher standard of gymnastics, but most compete at the JO level, and that's where they compete nationally if they can qualify. Nice, strong, powerful music. Front layout to a Rudy. That's a front 1.5. showing great facial expression.
I love how their leotards are sparkling in this light. I think that's one of the fans' favorite parts is what leotards is LSU going to wear? What leotards is Arizona going to wear? All the Swarovski sparkles. They've really come a long way over the years.
They're like evening gowns now.
They are.
And they're pricey as well.
Oh my goodness, yes. Very nice double pike.
I love the confidence in this routine. So aggressive. Most routines will have 3 tumbling passes, although not all. You can get all of your requirements with 2 tumbling passes.
Okay, you ladies piqued my interest. I heard you talking about the fashion of the leotards and the cost. What might a college leotard of this quality set you back?
Oh my goodness, 500.
My goodness.
And that's just probably...
That's one?
Yeah.
It depends upon how many crystals you have and all the details.
The sparkles.
Yeah.
But they're not cheap.
No, they are definitely not cheap.
Let's go back to beam. Sammy Durante.
Sammy is LSU's number 3 returning scorer on beam. Great job there in her front aerial. Beautiful split jump.
We talked about her consistency on bars, and she brings that over to balance beam as well. Her grace, her poise. Just had a little trouble on that acro series. Dropped that left shoulder, just took her off the side of the beam. She had a little trouble with that warm-up.
I think that's kind of unfamiliar territory for her. You very rarely see her make a mistake.
Very rarely.
Gorgeous toe point, stepping into her switch leap. Quarter straddle, those are 2 C-level skills that will give her some bonus.
Bridget Dean, by the way, was 9.6 on beam.
She goes for the dismount, side aerial to a back full, gets the stick, but not the routine that she wanted to add to this lineup with the fall on her acro series.
Taking a look at her leap series here, switch leap into the quarter straddle. The judges want to see a rise of the hips, so that shows height as well as the 180-degree split.
Kennedy Davis is next on the floor exercise, following a 9.775 by Libby Orman.
Arizona has had a nice start to the floor exercise, trying to get the crowd into their routines, into their dance, making this crowd their own. It's every fan's favorite event, I feel like.
But it's always difficult when you're at an away venue to be able to try to perform and get the away fans into your routine. So sometimes you just focus on kind of playing up to your teammates.
And creating your own energy is the most important. It was a beautiful first opening pass and very difficult. A punch, double full. It's an E-level skill. She did it very well.
She stepped up for her team big time at last year's Corvallis NCAA Regional, competing on floor for the first time, and she got a 9.75 in that debut performance. It's always a pretty intense time in the fall when your choreographers and you are getting together, you're choosing your music, you're creating all of this beauty and choreography that you will compete and perform for the rest of the year. Nice job.
Very nice routine. Very well done, and you talked about the choreography. I loved her choreography. I loved her expression and the way that she executed her dance moves. I feel like that fit her.
Solid difficulty from the beginning with the running front double full. That gives her an E skill for 2/10 of bonus. But overall, I have to say the difficulty of this Arizona team is a little bit lower than what we will see from LSU, but they are executing very well right now.
Kennedy Edney up for LSU. There's some pressure on her at the end of this lineup to really hit a solid routine.
Durante had a 9.35, which ramps up the pressure on Kennedy Edney and all those following.
And I'd like to say she's usually cool as a cucumber, but I'm not, well, I just said it. 9.925 multiple times last season. Staying aggressive on the series, back handspring layout.
She has 17 All-America honors, and my guess is definitely going to add to those honors this year, and that ranks 4th in school history. So she will definitely go down in history for LSU as being one of the greatest.
She almost looks as skillful and as smooth as a ballroom dancer on the beam.
She does. The height of all of her skills, that piked front toss, you could walk underneath it. It was perfectly done.
Elegant and dynamic in everything she does. And she has these cat-like reflexes. So many times we see her get those stuck landings.
There's a presence about her, isn't there?
There is. She's got it. And you could tell by the way that she moved about that beam routine. She was confident and she executed everything.
She's a gamer.
She definitely is.
No waivers, and that's going to be a big score.
Next on floor for the Wildcats, Heather Swanson.
Heather Swanson is next. Her best on floor, 9.85.
Competed in every meet last year in the regular season. Put up a 9.85 against Cal. That's her career best.
She's one of the captains of this Arizona team.
Out of Parkland, Florida.
Wasted no time going into this second tumbling pass.
She's on the taller side for a gymnast, and you're seeing both her first and second pass were twisting elements. That's usually skills that taller athletes lean towards. The shorter athletes have an easier time doing those flipping and rotating skills. Coach John Court in the corner. You can hear him encouraging her, cheering her on. She needs a little extra energy for this final tumbling pass. Endurance is crucial here as she goes big with a double back. Well done.
It's a beautiful floor routine. She had difficulty, everything she executed very well. Her landings were pretty spot on. And for this being the first meet of the season, finding those floor landings is not something that's easy to do, and I thought she did a great job.
First two tumbling passes were twisting passes, a front through to a 2.5 twist, but the last pass was a double back, and according to the rule changes this year, they need 6/10 of bonus, but by doing that double back last pass, she earns an extra 10th on top of the regular 10th you would get.
If you're waiting on Kennedy Edney's beam score, I've got it for you. 9.9 as we watch Kaya Johnson take the beam.
Last year's JO national champion on beam. She trained and was developed out of Texas Dreams. That's the same gym that Reagan Campbell was developed in. They're very well known for their great detail and precision on this event. Gorgeous.
I don't think there's any question that this is an impact freshman for LSU.
Definitely is. That was probably very uncharacteristic if I had to guess. That front tuck was beautiful. Just dropped that right shoulder and it took her off the beam. But Man, did she have a good routine going.
Yeah, she looks so confident.
So
That
LSU
front
is
tuck
going
is difficult.
Tigers are going to have to count one of those falls now.
They unfortunately will. These are first meet jitters. They're getting them out of the way early, and they will learn from them, readjust their lineups. The order may not be the same come the end of season. Get back in the gym, do more pressure sets. We're going to see that from a lot of teams tonight.
Kaya Johnson, this is an athlete. When she hits, she will be scoring those 9.9s and 9.95s. This routine can be exceptional. It's got big difficulty with the series back handspring layout, and that front tuck has been upgraded this year from a D to an E level skill. And look at the precision on the dismount. Legs glued together, stuck landing. She just got to stay on to get the big one.
Christina Berg up on floor exercise. 9.9 is her career best with this senior.
Front handspring double full. Again, an E-level skill, so opening up with an E-level is definitely something that you want to do to get that difficulty, to get your bonus, to get your 10-0 start value.
The top teams in the country, including LSU, will mostly have all 6 athletes opening with those E-level skills.
Full and a half to punch pike. Very well done. A lot of height on that second skill, which is what the judges are looking for. That second skill has to be above the first skill.
Percy is studying nutritional science, but after college she hopes to be a physical therapist because she says she wants to help injured athletes recover and get back into the sport they love. You see a lot of athletes getting into that field. Certainly, probably because you spend a lot of time in the physical therapy room.
Unfortunately, yes.
Last pass, taking a deep breath here, getting some oxygen to her muscles.
Ends with a Rudy to a split jump. That's a D-level skill. Another great routine from Arizona.
So Arizona has a 9.7, a 9.775, a 9.85, and a 9.825. This should be a big one as well. Very clean.
Of your LSU beam team, please welcome Reagan Campbell.
So we go to Reagan Campbell, wrapping up the beam for the Tigers, who are going to have to count one of 2 9.35 scores.
Starting with a unique mount here. Nice skills that kind of set her apart on this event. She's their #1 returning beam scorer, averaging over a 9.9 on this event last year. Solid on the series.
9.975 is her career high.
She's really good.
And
A junior out of Dallas, couple of letters to her credit.
She's gained so much confidence from her freshman year to now. It's really good to see her so confident up on balance beam as the anchor of this beam lineup. And I think greater things are to come for Reagan and this beam lineup because of how well she is doing and how confident she is.
And you mentioned that extremely high average score on the beam last year, and she did it very quietly, kind of under the radar a little bit.
Yep, she's definitely coming up, and I think that she's definitely going to be close to a 10, if not this year, next year for sure. And that was a beautiful beam routine.
Reagan Campbell for LSU.
So Reagan Campbell with what appeared to be the best beam routine of the night for LSU.
Front aerial, you see her feet are slightly turned there, but not a problem getting the connection into the leap and the dismount. Good direction off the beam, plenty of time to spot the landing and get the stick.
Christina Berg was 9.8 on the floor. And now the final floor performer, Maddie Layden. This is the final official performer. There will be an exhibition for Arizona coming.
Maddie earned a career high of a 9.925 on floor when they faced LSU last year. A veteran athlete who steps up, puts together good performances when it counts in high pressure situations. Nice job on her front through to a double back. Definitely some fun choreography. Her teammates on the side, dancing along with her.
Beautiful split positions on those leaps and jumps. Taking some deep breaths here before this next tumbling pass. Beautiful double pike, great landing. That was a fun routine, and she did all of her tumbling passes very well. The landings were spot on. She had a lot of fun doing it.
Tremendous power and endurance into that final tumbling pass as well. We talked about doing those double saltos at the end, gaining an extra 1/10 of a point. Front tuck through to a double tuck to start the routine off. There's the double pike, so 2/10 of bonus there now.
By the way, Reagan Campbell indeed had the highest beam score for the Tigers at 9.925. And Laura Lee Horton is about to do an exhibition routine on floor for Arizona.
So an exhibition routine allows the athlete to gain competition experience. It allows the coaches to have their athlete be judged by the judges here and get some feedback on that, but the score will not count towards the team score.
This young lady wants to teach in elementary school. In fact, right now she's doing her elementary school student teaching as part of that curriculum.
So early in the season, quite often you see teams allowing their athletes to do some exhibition experience and just to kind of fill out their lineup a little bit so that in the end that they have that depth and experience in their athletes.
It's a long season, and you want to make sure your athletes are ready on every event if you should need more than you're expecting to need towards the beginning. Injuries unfortunately happen, so being deep on every single event is so important.
You know, you guys are talking about injuries, and I was mentioning those to Lori before the broadcast. I said, how often were you injured in your career? She said, oh, I was very lucky. She said, I only had 2 broken ankles, 2 broken fingers, and a fractured back, and I was very, very lucky. That's exactly what you told me.
Yeah, the fractured back was a stress fracture. You know, it's kind of a common thing that you have to sometimes work through, but I really do feel like I was very lucky. My coaches respected my body and were very smart in terms of protecting me.
So you had 5 injuries, and you thought you were pretty fortunate overall.
Absolutely. I mean, look at LSU's Lexi Priestman and how many injuries and surgeries she had to overcome in her career. You know, that's an athlete who really had to overcome some obstacles.
Gymnasts are always sore, aren't they? I mean, real sore.
Always. I mean, I remember after meets just waking up and you just feel like you got hit by a truck just because the landings are so hard on your body, and you don't do that every day. You do it once a week, and that's why, because it's so hard on your body.
I don't know. I think any top elite athlete's going to have to push their body through some tough circumstances.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So we'll get you set for the final event in just a moment. Arizona on beam, LSU on floor. That's upcoming as we break away from Baton Rouge. LSU Arizona gymnastics coverage. This meet is in the balance as we go to the 4th and final rotation. After having to count a fall on beam, LSU's lead has been narrowed to 146.450 to 146.400. A very slim advantage for the Tigers as they head to the floor exercise. And, of course, Arizona will be on beam. This is the way it lines up. LSU beam scores with a 9.35 recorded twice, one of those having to be discarded. Reagan Campbell winning the event for the Tigers at 9.925, and Kennedy Edney with a very solid performance at 9.9. Arizona's floor scores, they had to discard the 9.7, a pretty solid outing led by Maddie Layden, the anchor, 9.875. So there you have it. LSU and Arizona with a razor-thin margin between these teams headed into the final event. Let's take a timeout. We'll be back. Who will win this meet? We're going to find out in just a few minutes. Arizona, LSU. And on team scores, LSU clinging to a scant lead. 146.450. Arizona 146.40. There was a celebration prior to this meet of accomplishments of last year, and there were so many as we take a look at 4 banners being dropped to observe what was a tremendous 2019 season.
SEC champions, individual, national champions. There's just a lot to be celebrated and a lot to be remembered. 2019 was an amazing year for LSU, and now with these banners dropped, they'll be remembered forever in LSU gymnastics history.
Back-to-back-to-back SEC championships for LSU. That's never been done before.
Kennedy, Edney, and Sarah Finnegan were the 4th and 5th NCAA champions in school history. So still have Kennedy Edney on this team, waiting for more success from her for this year because I know she has it in her.
The rules changed to the first time ever having the 4 on the floor in the final, but in the past it was the Super 6 final. So LSU qualified to that very prestigious national championship event for the first time and finished as the runner-up.
Here's the Arizona beam lineup. Davis, Stoffacher, Leung, Hargrove, Coles, and Hendrickson.
And first on balance beam for the Arizona Wildcats.
This was probably one of Arizona's most inconsistent events last year. They had a high of a 49.125 and a low of a 47.25. This is the make or break event, and right now this competition is on the line. So Arizona is looking for 6 consistent performances to set themselves up for an opportunity to beat LSU here.
And
Davis, the sophomore out of Blue Springs, Missouri.
ending on beam is not an easy task either. Beautiful triple series, a back handspring, layout, step out, took up every inch of that balance beam, and it was beautifully done.
And triple flights, meaning 3 directly connected acro elements like that, also get an extra 10th of bonus. She competed in 9 out of 11 regular season meets last year with a career high of a 9.85 as a freshman. Pretty impressive.
She's got great tempo going. Moves from one skill to the next, which is something the judges want to see. You don't want to take long pauses in between each of your elements. And that was a great start for Arizona on balance beam. Very solid.
She looks so confident up there.
Tiger fans.
Front toss, slight wobble there, probably a 1/10 deduction. But a solid routine from start to finish. Here with the dismount, round off 1.5, tiny hop on the landing.
Very well done.
Let's take a look at how it lines up for LSU on floor.
Please welcome Ruby Harold.
Ruby Harold will get it started, followed by Olivia Gunter, Sarah Edwards, Reagan Campbell, Kaya Johnson, and Kennedy Edney.
LSU graduated 2 great floor workers in McKenna Kelly and Sarah Finnegan last year, so they have some big shoes to fill, but they have some new talent in this lineup, especially with Kaya Johnson. She is a big-time floor worker, so powerful.
Ruby is capable of scoring a 9.9 plus on this event. And in that leadoff spot, that's definitely something that they're going to want to see tonight to kind of make up some ground from that beam rotation.
They held her back at the Gymnastics 101 showcase. She kind of tweaked her hip a little bit leading up to that. They wanted to take no chances. Other than that, she's had fabulous fall training. Sky high double pike, and I love this new routine. I feel like this year she's really showing a lot of character. thing I think that LSU stands out with is how aggressive they are on those leaps and jumps, and you see them doing a lot of work with the elastic bands on their ankles, creating that dynamic, active flexibility that's required for those leaps and jumps.
Don't want to take a deduction on a leap or jump or a landing, so LSU really trains those things so that they can eliminate those small deductions because they do add up.
I love how that last tumbling pass just fed into that handstand down to the floor. The choreography connecting with the tumbling. So nice.
A great leadoff set, gaining momentum, gaining excitement for the rest of the floor lineup to follow suit after her and hit another great 5 routines to put up a good score.
Aggressive in that opening tumbling pass, the front double full, that's an E-level skill. We talked about the top teams having multiple E-level skills in their routine. Beautiful height on the double pike.
So we go back to beam now, and Arizona's freshman from Scottsdale, majoring in veterinary science. This is Avery Stoffacher.
Judges still working on the score from their first athlete, Kennedy Davis. Which means that Avery has to stand a little longer. Those nerves start to build up a little bit, but this is where the coaches can kind of step in, tell her to take a breath, talk to her a little bit. She starts to do maybe some mental words. Take a deep breath and get ready to go.
She's got to stay in her own zone, stay in her own element, stay within herself and not worry about anything else that's going on. That's what's going to make great beam. Beam is mental.
We can update you on the floor exercise. Ruby Harold scored 9.85. And we've got a discussion about the score of Kennedy Davis on beam. That apparently is what we are holding here. 9.85 for Kennedy Davis. Very good on beam.
Oh my goodness, I love that mount.
That was very cool, very different. Getting set for her acro series. Back handspring layout, step out, right into her dance.
Perhaps a little bit of a long wait before the tumble series. If they wait longer than 2 seconds, there is a deduction.
Aerial to a split jump, that was beautiful. Full turn, looks very easy. It is very easy, but it'll get you. Very nice routine from Arizona. They've had a great beam lineup going so far in those first 2 competitors.
Let me interrupt you for a moment because we've been told that Kennedy Davis's score has been changed from 9.85 to 9.5 on a judge's correction. That's a huge difference because the balance in this meet is very, very thin right now.
She may have missed an element. The judges may have missed an element that she actually did, so I'm sure there will be an inquiry on the coach's behalf for the athlete to figure out what went wrong.
Olivia Gunter, Jr., competing as an LSU Tiger for the first time. We did see her perform at the Gymnastics 101.
It's so great to see Olivia out here. She had an Achilles tear. And coming back from that injury and competing floor is something that she has worked so hard for. You saw in that first pass, she stepped out of bounds a little bit.
And that is new upgraded difficulty that she has worked on since being here at LSU. And she has so much power, and eventually with a little bit more experience, she'll be able to find that landing correctly.
Olivia finished in the top 15 on floor at the JO levels. in level 10. So this is one of her best events, and to be competing it for LSU is something that she's worked so hard for, especially after that injury like we talked about. So I know that she's excited to be out here. Her teammates are excited for her to be able to compete. A little slow on that double tuck again. Those landings will come as the girls get competition endurance throughout the season.
And Dee Bro with a
Bro
big smile and a tight hug.
So proud of this athlete. She has worked so hard to come back from the injury, to really build up her difficulty and her skills to the level that is needed to make this floor lineup. One of the hardest working athletes in the gym, and all along the way through her injuries and problems, she has been the best team player for everyone.
Here's Jenny Lee Young, who is a senior. She's been an intern at Nike. In fact, she's already been hired by Nike after graduation as a procurement analyst.
That's awesome to have everything set up before you even graduate, and you're an athlete. That's amazing. Beautiful acro series, back handspring layout, step out. Beautiful releve.
By the way, you were complimentary of Stoffacher's routine. 9.8, the judges agreed with you.
9.85 was her season and career high last year. Arizona looking very confident here. Dismount, cat leap, into an aerial, into her back full. A little bit of a direction problem, tiny hop on the landing, but wow, another solid routine for Arizona.
She was confident, she was calm, she moved through with great rhythm. There's that acro series, back handspring layout, step out, perfectly done. And then the cat leap into the side aerial and back full.
Sarah Edwards is next on floor for LSU at 4'11". She's the smallest LSU gymnast, and she follows the 9.625 by Olivia Gunter.
She may be the smallest, but she packs a lot of power and speed.
We saw her vault, it was sky high, and her tumbling is just the same.
She's training a new opening tumbling pass. We did see it at Gym 101, the double layout, but today choosing to do another E-skill, the front double full, something that she has performed many, many times and is consistent with. We may see that double layout later in the season.
It's nice to have options.
Oh, gorgeous. That is another rule change. If you connect two C skills, so a front full to a front full, you get an extra 10th of bonus. That's helping the athlete get those 6/10ths to get a 10-0 start value.
Sarah's got such great personality throughout her floor routine. I don't think she's stopped smiling, getting her teammates involved, getting the crowd excited. That last tumbling pass. Double tuck. Fights for that stick.
Fun routine, absolutely.
She really did a great job.
You know, we see the smile on Dee Bro's face, but just a few days ago she lost her mother a couple of days before Christmas. Her mom, for the first time in decades, not watching her daughter lead the LSU Tigers in gymnastics.
It's definitely an emotional night, I'm sure, for Dee in more ways than one. Her mom was such a special person in her life and in her development as a gymnast and into her career at LSU. So I know that her mom is watching tonight from heaven and very proud of her daughter.
In the last couple of years, Dee actually brought her mom in to live with her and took care of her in those final years. So definitely some special moments and memories there, I'm sure.
This is Malia Hargrove.
Beautiful job on her back handspring layout, looking confident and aggressive. Cat leap, side aerial, and some problems. A fall on beam is a 5/10 deduction.
And that's just about going to ensure the victory for LSU.
we have to remember that their lowest score can be dropped, but there was that judging issue with Davis, their first up, so that score dropped down to a 9-5. So now, yes, they will have 2 low scores.
How good was Sarah Edwards? 9.9.
Nice finish with the round off 1.5. Started strong with this tumble series, pushing down the beam nice and straight and aggressive into her lunge. Problem with the aerial, no problem here on the dismount.
And next on the floor for LSU, Reagan Campbell.
So
here's another fireball for the LSU Tigers. Reagan Campbell.
9.9 is Reagan's career high on this event, and she really pushed her way into the floor lineup last season, so I'm hoping to see more of her more consistently throughout this season in floor because her tumbling's beautiful, she's very graceful and a powerful athlete.
Nice job on her middle tumbling pass, 1.5 to a front layout. I really think what sets her apart is her elegance. Just look at the details in her arms, the extension, the power in the movement, but still there's elegance there. So I never imagined at this opening competition that it would be so close going into this final event. It was very important for LSU to keep their energy and enthusiasm up here on floor. This is traditionally one of their best events. They've done a solid job so far.
Final tumbling pass. Double tuck, just not enough energy towards the end. Again, endurance will come as we go throughout season, getting those stronger last passes and working the landings. But overall, a great routine from Reagan.
We talked about the athletes getting that extra 10th of bonus on these double salto last tumbling passes, and that's something that Dee Dee was really pushing throughout the fall to get her athletes doing those double saltos, and it does require a tremendous amount of energy and endurance. You'd see she dropped her shoulders back, her tuck position was a little bit open, and that slowed her rotation.
Courtney Coles with a 9.925, her very best beam score.
Another one of those senior athletes we talked about bringing the experience to this team. Cat leap front aerial, a little crooked, but pushes through to the split jump. 14 out of 24 routines today were performed by seniors.
Having that experience in your lineup is so important because it leads the younger classmen to do what you just did. I hit my routine, I'm confident in myself, and they will follow you. So gaining that experience is so important, and the leadership from those older athletes is so important.
And Coach John Court also said with 7 freshmen, having the strength in the senior class allows them to really take their time in introducing the freshmen to competition and making sure that they are ready. Interesting dismount. Gainer front full.
Very solid beam set.
Next on the floor exercise for your
that acro series, that handspring layout step out, right on, and then the gainer front full dismount. Small hop on the landing, but a great beam set from Courtney.
2 competitors to go for LSU on the floor. Here's the first one, Kaya Johnson, following a 9.75 by Reagan Campbell.
JO national champion on this event. She has mega power in this opening pass. Full in, back out, great control with all that power on the landing.
She's being very expressive too. Ashley Claire Kearney, you'll see her on the side there. She choreographs these floor routines for LSU, and she works with the girls on their expressions, choreographing what moves to do where, have more expression, smile more, be excited. So she really does the whole thing so that these girls get the crowd involved and their teammates involved.
And I think that it's most difficult to get that type of expression out of a freshman.
Yes.
You know, until you get out there and get the feedback from the audience and the crowd, you kind of feel a little silly, you know?
Yep.
But then you get into this experience with sellout crowds, and it is so much fun.
At the JO level, like we talked about earlier, it's a little different and a little bit more serious, and college floor is way more fun to compete.
Serious height on her final tumbling pass, a double pike. Big power in this athlete.
Did you see any deductions?
Sure, there are a few here and there, but you couldn't ask for much more from a freshman. Her first time out, that was amazing.
This crowd recognizes it as well.
Opening tumbling pass, round off back handspring, full twisting double back. That's an E-level skill. No problem on the landing. Look at the determination in her face heading into that last pass. She is like, I've got this. Sky high double pike.
She defied gravity a couple of times. Haley Hendrickson on beam.
Redshirt senior. Again, bringing incredible consistency and experience to this beam lineup. She hit every routine last season and didn't score below a 9.7. On her great routine, she can be in that 9.8, 9.85 range.
Handspring way out, step out. Really fought for that landing. She did a great job getting it back on top of the balance beam. Cat leap to a side aerial. Very well done.
I'm going to keep you in suspense on Kaya Johnson's score.
Switch leap to a back handspring swing down. Not an element you see very often, but she did it very well.
I like the smile of the routine. Some coaches say when you smile in a routine, it helps relieve pressure, but I also think that it makes you look like this is easy, no problem.
Score on the full exercise for freshman
That cat leap to the side aerial. Very well done.
9.5.
And then the dismount. Great way to close out Arizona's beam lineup.
And you may have heard in the background the public address announcement of a 9.95 for Kaya Johnson. Both judges gave her that mark.
What a debut.
And now Kennedy Edney, who averaged 9.839 last year on floor.
She scored a perfect 10 on this event. She's an All-American. She's a powerful athlete.
And she will fly on this opening tumbling pass. It's complicated. Half turn into it with a blind landing. Opened just a little early, but fought for that landing. Well done. That's where the conditioning comes in. The strength in the legs to be able to make those quick corrections.
She goes for that second tumbling pass. About full and a half to a punch layout. Perfect landing right into her dance. Kennedy is such a great all-around gymnast for LSU. She scored a 39.775 in the all-around last year, and she's just not done yet. There's so much more success to be had by this athlete individually and to help contribute to this Tiger team.
Year after year, one of the best all-arounders in the country. She has that athletic ability, and we saw it right there in that final tumbling pass, which stalled out just a little bit. But with her cat-like reflexes, she got it to her feet. opening pass, the double Arabian, small deduction there, but no deductions on that middle pass. Here's that final tumbling pass. She got so much height, had to really pull on that rotation to put it on her feet. That is an athlete with experience, and it showed.
We'll return to the Maravich Center with final individual scores in the last rotation and the meet score right after this timeout on the SEC ESPN Network. One of the 2020 college gymnastics season is over, and the LSU Tigers, who led by a scant margin going into the final rotation, beat Arizona 195.725 to 195.025. Let's look at individual beam scores for the Wildcats. They had a couple of wobbles, and it cost them as Hargrove's 9.225 was discarded, but a 9.5 for Kennedy Davis had to be counted, and Arizona did not have enough in the beam to overcome LSU, even though Leung and Stoffacher with very nice scores, 9.85 and 9.8 respectively. On the floor for LSU, a strong finish, a 9.825 for Kennedy Edney, but Kaya Johnson stole the show with a 9.95. Both judges awarded her that. Sarah Edwards with a very solid mark as well, and Ruby Harrell. So LSU wins it 195.725 to 195.025. Kaylee Abood, your final comments.
It's not the night that LSU wanted to have. However, they're going to go back in the gym. They're going to get more pressure sets, rearrange some lineups, I'm sure, get more numbers, work more of the individual skills so that next week at Georgia, they're more prepared for what's to come. But I think that this team has some great things to come.
And Lori Strong-Ballard, your observations about tonight.
Well, we talked at the top of the show about LSU wanting to come out strong and making a statement. It probably was not the score and the statement they wanted to make, but I think the statement they did make is they've got talent. It is there. They will go back into the gym. They'll clean up some of those mistakes because this is a championship program. They are well prepared, and they are fighters and competitors. I think that there is more to come for this LSU Tiger team.
And we did see the freshman impact that most of you talked about.
Absolutely. Kaya was amazing, and I'm so excited to see the impact that she continues to bring to this LSU Tigers team throughout the rest of this season and throughout her career.
So that wraps it up from Baton Rouge for Kaylee Dixon-Abood and Lori Strong-Ballard. I'm Lynn Rollins saying so long from Louisiana's capital. The final score, LSU 195.725, Arizona 195.025. To watch this entire meet on replay as well as other games on the SEC Network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.